Imagine working at McDonald's and unknowingly treating a former president's son like just another customer. That's exactly what happened to Diego Rivera, a hardworking manager at a busy Manhattan location. It was just another hectic Saturday afternoon when a tall teenager in a black suit walked in and quietly placed his order. Diego, focused on keeping the restaurant running smoothly, barely noticed him at first. But whispers started spreading. "Isn't that Barron Trump?" Customers sneaked glances, and some even pulled out their phones. Unaware of who he was dealing with, Diego treated Barron like any other customer, maybe even a little too curtly. What happened next was completely unexpected. The situation quickly spiraled as Barron's presence caused a stir, and soon, Diego found himself at the center of a viral moment. How did he handle it? And what did Barron do that left everyone surprised? Stick around to find out, and if you enjoy intriguing real-life stories, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Diego Rivera was a hardworking man from Madrid, recently promoted to manager at a busy McDonald's in Manhattan. He took pride in his work, determined to keep the restaurant running smoothly, especially during the chaotic lunch rush. That Saturday afternoon was no different. The lines were long, orders were flying in, and Diego was juggling a dozen tasks at once. Amid the crowd, a tall teenager in a sleek black suit walked through the door. He moved with an air of quiet confidence, but his striking height and familiar face caught the attention of several customers. Whispers spread quickly. "Isn't that Barron Trump?" Some glanced over curiously, others nudged their friends. Barron approached the counter, unfazed by the attention. He scanned the menu with casual boredom before stepping up to place his order. "I'll have a Big Mac, large fries, and a Coke," he said. The young cashier, Lisa, smiled and quickly punched in the order, treating him like any other customer. As Barron reached for his wallet, the lunch rush continued, but the growing murmurs hinted that this was no ordinary visit. Diego, focused on keeping things running efficiently, barely paid attention to the teenager at the counter. To him, Barron was just another customer. Maybe a little overdressed for McDonald's, but nothing out of the ordinary. Still, Diego had high standards, especially when it came to handling transactions correctly. As Lisa rang up the order, Diego stepped in and firmly reminded her, "Make sure you ask for the correct amount." His tone was sharp, making sure everything was done properly, but also loud enough for Barron to hear. Lisa's smile faltered slightly as Barron reached into his wallet. Without a word, he pulled out a $2 bill, something rarely seen in everyday transactions. Lisa hesitated for just a second before taking it and giving him his change. Barron remained expressionless, unfazed by the interaction, and stepped aside to wait for his food. Once his order was ready, Barron took his tray and found a quiet table by the window. As he ate, the murmurs in the restaurant didn't stop. Customers continued sneaking glances, whispering to each other. Diego noticed the growing attention around the teenager, but brushed it off. Probably some rich kid who thinks he's important, he thought. Unaware of who Barron really was, he went back to managing the restaurant, oblivious to the unexpected turn the day was about to take. As the lunch rush continued, the whispers around the restaurant grew louder. Customers were nudging each other, stealing glances at the tall teenager by the window. One woman leaned toward her friend, whispering, "That's Barron Trump." Another customer discreetly pulled out their phone, snapping a quick photo. The realization spread like wildfire. The son of the former president was sitting right there, eating a Big Mac like any other customer. Diego, busy with his usual duties, finally picked up on the hushed conversations. He frowned, curiosity getting the better of him. Why is everyone so focused on that kid? Stepping out from behind the counter, he made his way toward Barron's table. The teenager continued eating, seemingly unaffected by the attention. Diego hesitated for a brief moment before asking, Excuse me, are you? Barron looked up, meeting Diego's gaze for the first time. His expression was calm, almost unreadable. Yes, I'm Barron Trump, he replied simply. For a moment, Diego felt his stomach sink. His mind flashed back to their earlier interaction. The curt tone, the unnecessary insistence on Lisa handling the payment correctly. Had he been too harsh? He had assumed Barron was just another entitled teenager, but now he realized he might have judged him unfairly. A wave of regret crept in, but before Diego could say anything else, the murmurs around them only grew louder. Something told him this encounter wasn't over yet. As Barron continued eating, a young boy, no older than 10, hesitantly approached his table. His eyes were wide with excitement, and his mother stood a few steps behind him, watching nervously. "Excuse me," the boy said, his voice filled with awe. "Are you really Barron Trump?" Barron glanced up and gave a polite nod. "Yes, I am." The boy's face lit up. "Wow. My dad talks about your family all the time," he said enthusiastically. His mother quickly stepped in, offering a polite smile. "Thank you for your time," she said, gently pulling her son away. Barron gave a small nod before returning to his meal, but by now, nearly everyone in the restaurant was paying attention. Then, the door swung open. A man in a dark suit and earpiece strode in, scanning the room before locking eyes on Barron. Without hesitation, he approached the table. "Mr. Trump, we need to leave," he said in a low, firm voice. The atmosphere in the restaurant shifted instantly. Customers started whispering, some discreetly pulling out their phones to record the moment. The sight of a Secret Service agent only added to the spectacle. Barron, unfazed, stood up, grabbed his tray, and turned toward Diego. "Thank you for the meal," he said, before calmly exiting the restaurant with the agent. Diego stood frozen, watching the scene unfold. His stomach twisted with unease, but the real shock came moments later. His phone buzzed in his pocket. When he pulled it out, his eyes widened. He was trending online. A video of his earlier interaction with Barron had gone viral. The caption read, "McDonald's manager had no idea who Barron Trump was. Awkward moment ensues." Scrolling through the comments, Diego saw a mix of reactions. Some found it amusing, others criticized him for being dismissive. Words like unprofessional and "this guy has no respect" jumped out at him. His face burned with embarrassment. What had started as a regular workday had now turned into an internet spectacle, and Diego had no idea how to fix it. The next morning, Diego felt a heavy weight in his chest as he walked toward the McDonald's doors. He had barely slept, dreading the fallout from the viral video. Would customers recognize him? Would his bosses call him out for how he handled the situation? The uncertainty gnawed at him. As he stepped inside, Lisa was already behind the counter sipping a coffee. She glanced up and gave him a small, knowing smile. "Rough night, huh?" she said. "You could say that," Diego muttered, rubbing his temples. He hadn't even clocked in yet when his phone buzzed. He pulled it out and felt his stomach drop. An urgent email from McDonald's corporate requesting a meeting. His heart pounded as he hurried to the back office and logged into the video call. The regional manager, Mr. Simmons, appeared on the screen, his expression unreadable. Diego braced himself for the worst. "We saw the video," Mr. Simmons said, without preamble. Diego's pulse quickened. He was ready to defend himself, to explain that he didn't mean any disrespect. But before he could speak, Mr. Simmons continued, "Barron Trump personally contacted us this morning." Diego blinked in shock. "He did?" "Yes," Mr. Simmons confirmed. "He said you and your staff were professional and treated him like any other customer, which, frankly, is exactly how it should be." Relief washed over Diego as Mr. Simmons leaned forward. "Consider this a learning experience," he added. "We never know who might walk through our doors. But at the end of the day, respect and professionalism matter most. The meeting ended, and Diego let out a long breath. He had spent the entire night worrying about his reputation. But in the end, he had done his job. And thanks to Barron Trump's unexpected praise, he had avoided what could have been a disaster. As Diego stepped out of the office, he couldn't help but reflect on everything that had happened. The viral moment, the panic, the unexpected praise from Barron Trump, it all led to one important realization. Always treat every customer with respect, because you never know who they might be. He had assumed Barron was just another teenager, but in the end, it didn't matter who he was. What mattered was how he was treated. This experience was a wake-up call, not just for Diego, but for anyone in customer service. A simple interaction can leave a lasting impression, good or bad. And that brings us to the end of this incredible story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss more amazing stories like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.